Rashid Khan was 65 years old, but that day, for the first time, he truly felt the weight of his age. He stood in the kitchen of his home, holding a small shopping list in his hand. In a soft voice, he called his daughter, Aliyah, and asked if she could drive him to the market. Aliyah looked up from her phone, but there was no warmth or respect in her eyes. She refused without hesitation. Then she said something that struck straight into Rashid's heart, that he was a burden on them. His son-in-law, Faisal, walked in and instead of easing the situation, made it worse. To both of them, Rashid was no longer a responsibility, but a problem. Rashid didn't argue. He quietly picked up his coat and walked out of the house. Sitting in the taxi, watching his home fade into the distance, only one question echoed in his mind. When did he stop being a father and become a burden? At the market, he bought everything he needed. It was his birthday, and he wanted to host a small gathering for his old friends. When he returned home, he arranged everything himself. He set the table, took out the old dishes his late wife loved, and prepared everything with care. In the evening, his friends arrived. For a while, everything felt normal. There was laughter, conversations, memories, as if the past had briefly returned. But when Rashid went inside to invite Aliyah and Faisal, they refused to join. Their words carried a cold disrespect. Rashid said nothing more and returned to his guests. The guests eventually left, but the night was not over. Aliyah and Faisal were waiting for him in the living room. They mocked his gathering and reminded him that the house was theirs. To them, Rashid was just a guest. This was the house he had bought, and yet he no longer had a place in it. Rashid simply said, "Fine." He went to his room, took out his suitcase, and began packing his belongings. When he came downstairs, he placed the house key on the table and walked out without looking back. When Aliyah called, furious that her card had been declined, Rashid calmly asked, "How does it feel?" That same day, he canceled the Hawaii trip he had planned for them. As each booking disappeared, he felt no pain over the money. Instead, he felt a quiet sense of dignity returning. That evening, Faisal was waiting for him outside the motel. He tried to intimidate Rashid, but this time, Rashid did not bend. He made it clear that everything was over. The next day, Rashid went to a lawyer's office. There, he rewrote his will completely. He decided that everything he owned would go to people who truly needed it. When Aliyah called again, her voice filled with regret, asking him to come back home, Rashid simply said that a home is built on respect. Then he ended the call. Weeks later, Rashid stood on the porch of his new house. It was small, but it was entirely his. No one called him a burden anymore. No one measured his worth in money. He had made the hardest decisions of his life. And for the first time, he was truly free.